Hello. I'm assuming everything is working well right now. Whoa, glowing. Cat's not quite up yet, but it'll be in a second, I'm sure. No webcam today for no reason that I can tell. Just doesn't want to work, so I'm just letting it not work. Hold on. Things are kind of looking to be a little bit like 0 FPS on stream. No, they're not bad. A little bit laggy. Let me retry this. I'm gonna hope that it's a little bit better now. It does not appear to be. I was hoping that turning down the resolution a little bit would make it a little better. No, it just seems to be getting progressively worse than worst. For no reason at all. Oh, and then it stopped. Why did it stop? Okay, let's see if it stays stopped. Things seem alright, okay. Hold on. I guess we're good. Oh. Man, I'm having like a full-blown episode. I am so stressed out over this whole college thing, man, I'm like, right now I feel pretty alright, but I'm on like the verge of a lot of physical pain. Like, when I get very anxious, I tend to like tense my body up way too much, and then that's extremely painful. But I'm not right now, but I know I could be. I'm just almost there. I just like got out of it, basically. It's been like happening a lot. Went for like a 4-hour walk last night through the forest. Just to, like, try and shake off like all the extra energy inside my body. It's pretty crazy. Trying to get a win on this game. It's been a long time since I've been able to beat it on turbo mode, at least. As long as I can remember. One day I gotta like drop like a documentary or something of like my experience, cause man, I got too much to get off my chest. I'm really excited to be starting a psychology course because I feel like that might be a place where I'll be able to vent some of the issues that I'm having. Because, like, I can talk about it in a way that's not, like, exhausting, I guess. Because I can, like, separate myself from the horrors at a level where like, I can stop the emotions from being overly displayed. You know, sometimes when you're like really feeling awful, you cannot hide it at all, and then if you've been in that experience, sometimes people will just like treat you awfully because you're feeling bad, and like that's a whole thing. So, but I feel like I've learned to like kind of maintain a more stoic presence even when I'm going through like the worst experience, which is also bad sometimes because I'm able to hide way more of the suffering, and then, which is good also though, because I don't live in a place where I can show any of it. It'd be very, very dangerous. Good afternoon, Rad. I don't know if you're still here. I wasn't looking at chat. I was kind of just dialed into speaking and whatnot. Trying to just I'm having like a little bit of a artist block, and I would like to break through that. everything is getting like stuck. And then it'll all come out in spouts where everything is just like flowing out of my mouth, and then I get stuck again. And I'm trying to stay. Typically, I fix my writer's block by not doing anything for 6 months. Same, honestly. But I'm trying to. I don't have that choice this time. I have to continue pulling things together, or I'm screwed. So I'm just like deciding to lose my mind instead, and hopefully push completely through all of the boundaries that I thought were in existence before. We'll see where that goes, because the other option is like literally disaster in all ways, because there's no more time for me to like not perform. Life is going to kill me, so I have to perform or die. So it's time to perform. It's like you know, get rich or die trying, as 50 Cent would say. Though, I don't really... I'd say just draw her something on a canvas, get it all out. I'm streaming and blabbing to myself. That's more me style. I'm very vocal, very literal. By that I mean literary. Poetic, oftentimes as well. I like to write. Drawing is something that I can do when I feel good. Not when I feel horrible. I do have some drawings, though. I love to draw when I'm feeling good, though. Sometimes I just need to talk. And let me tell you, man, I've... all the therapists I've gone to have just judged me for it, so I've just, like, given up. I'd rather just, like, speak to the void. Or you guys, really. Because you guys aren't the void. But sometimes no one's in here. But sometimes there are people in here, and I should really acknowledge that and not dissociate from it, because that's scary as well. Because, like, a lot of the times when I'm, like, talking about, like, things like this in real life, I just get, like, completely tuned out immediately. Like, completely. There's a synergy I got. I don't really know what it is. Whatever. We'll figure it out. Ooh, and the metronome. This goes crazy. Kind of like the metronome in Pokemon. The more things you kill in a row, the more damage you deal. Go to the second floor. I don't know, well, I'm bored and trying to find something to do, so I'm here. Well, I greatly appreciate it. I'm glad, because we've had a lot of good times on stream together. I do appreciate that a lot. And I'm just yapping, because I gotta get it all out, as you say. It's important to just talk, I think. Well, that's the pit of doom. Didn't mean to really go in there. That's usually how it happens. Not expecting it, and then sudden descent. It's harder on turbo mode because like every little small movement you make is so heavy. It's so easy to walk yourself off a cliff or walk into a bullet. You have to be very precise with the little clicks. Oh. I need some health immediately. Black bullets is really good. It makes all of my bullets kind of like explode like grenades. And I walked off a cliff again. See, this is like, am I gonna be able to write like a 3,000 page essay if I can't even like not walk off a cliff? I don't know. Though I have like literally no choice but to try. I'm receiving a call from a number that I have no idea of what the number is. I 100% mean word. I am just a little bit silly in the head right now. That was like someone thought I called them, but I did not call anybody. I don't know what, I don't have an essay. I'm just like making up like horrible scenarios inside of my mind with my anxiety. I have no idea like what the entirety, like the scope of what I've signed up for is. Like I know it's not going to be 3,000 page, but like it's like a kind of like a exaggeration here. Just like I struggle with focusing a lot, but sometimes I feel like I can do it like really well, and it's just hard for me to get in that state where I can focus. And that's what's really frustrating, is because I don't exactly know what prevents me from getting into that focus state. 3,000 word essays are common in college. 3,000 words doesn't seem too bad. I think I can yap that much out. But I at the same time, it's a lot of words. We'll see how it goes. I think I have to have a better, more positive mindset on it. Also, yeah, I can understand. For my course, my main problem was just trying to get myself to study. Yeah, I fear about that as well because oftentimes I struggle with like motivation as well. So I'm scared that I'll get like left behind like I have often in high school. Luckily for me, my memory came in clutch when I was in college. That's good. In what way do you mean by that? I have pretty good memory as well. I'm hoping that it will help. Like just paying attention in class and absorbing information. What helped me was going to the library or maybe join a group or get a tutor. I would love that. I'm hoping to like immediately like try and make as many friends in the course as possible so I can have like a support group because I'm like gonna be struggling a lot with I think probably one of the hardest parts of high school for me was like the sense of just like going through it with like zero sense of purpose and like totally isolated from everything and everyone, and that I don't think I can manage going through college like that again. So I'm hoping that I'm gonna break through that. I have terrible photographic memory. I can remember it, but it doesn't last forever in my mind. I kind of understand what you mean by that. I remember like things super clearly, but I have no control over what I remember. Some would call it a selective memory. I call it like an unselective memory. Like it just remembers what it wants to. But that want is not me. It's not me. A lot of it is like I'll remember like the stupidest stuff that I've ever done in vivid detail. Yeah, it's like a common thing. Ooh. No, so close to getting not hit. Gang, 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 gang. Welcome, church dog. I guess your college experience also depends on your roommate. My house had 3 roommates. 2 out of 3 was good. The last one was weird. So far, my plan is to be going from home. But let me tell you, if anything happens to get me out of this place, that would be like the immediate thing that I would do. I would starve and like just like be in a dorm before anything else, because I just can't take the pressure here. It feels like I'm so unwanted by everyone that it makes me want to jump out the window. Like I can feel like the air feels like breathing knives, and that is very intense. I knew a girl whose roommates hated her because people like me kept coming over. I think she got kicked out of her dorm. Oh, darn it, I'm like you. Hopefully, people are a little bit more laid back wherever I'm at. There's gonna be probably a lot of people who are like really serious about studying and like, well, I'm gonna be really serious about studying too, but also the only way that I can be serious about studying is if I'm extremely serious about having fun too. Because if I don't like enjoy myself, nah, but like 2 a.m. sketchy meetups, you know what I mean? But 2 a.m. sketchy meetups is like normal for me because I'm a night owl. Well, my roommate never left his room, plus he stayed up insanely late every night and would smash his desk often. Okay, now that is freaky. They didn't feel safe with randoms they don't know coming over at night. You know what I would do? I would like introduce myself to everybody in the room. You know, like I would like I'd let them know who I am, you know, so that they don't feel unsafe. You know, like if their roommates feel unsafe, then let me like introduce myself and like make a community because I feel like lack of communication is what causes the most fear out of anything. And with communication, you can break a lot of that. And sometimes it's just kind of awkward, but I'm just gonna like throw myself out there as hard as I can. But I could totally understand Rad with like your roommate never leaving his room and smashing his desk often. I would feel horrified. No, that's like no communication at all. That's like terrifying. Nah, for real, it wasn't like that though. They were all weird, TBH. Yeah, I can see that. Hoping that hopefully, not everyone sucks there. If everyone sucks there, then I don't even know what I'll do, to be honest. That would like be like another like, oh, I tried to find a way out of my head and it was non-existent, and then that will just like push me even further into my own soul, and then I would probably find a breakthrough in some new fashion, and you know what, I would just find my way again. We'll see how it goes. I feel like church dog. Fortune's favor. This one lets bullets like kind of like fly around me if I like press the spacebar. It's not the most accurate form of invincibility, but it helps. Darn fairy. Praying my garage dries, but I'm not tripping. I really hope it does dry. I'll let you explain that one, church dog. Ooh, we got a cool synergy here. It's like I got the Void Corpse cannon and the Void Corpse assault rifle. So now when I hold the Void Corpse, or this is the shotgun actually. Shotgun. When it rains, the electricity don't work. Yes. Dude, that's another thing that I feel like if I could get outside of my home with college, then I would be able to stream like so much more fluently, because like one of like the hardest parts about streaming for me, I feel, is like the fear of like speaking and like not like me and my family's relationship is so complicated, and we've been through like so many like weird things that like I have no idea like what could get taken out of context and could like be used against me in the court of law or something, because it's happened before, man. And I don't know what's gonna, I don't know, I don't feel safe ever anymore. Like the idea of safety is long gone, and I would like to and on top of that, like I know like it stresses them out as well, and I feel like there's like always like a feeling of guilt on top of that. It's not like fully selfish, like I'm just feeling like persecuted or anything like that, but I also don't want to bother anybody, because I feel they get bothered by me because they're horrified of me, because they don't understand me, which is extremely difficult to deal with when everyone around you feels like they are like think that you are the worst person and you don't understand why, and you have no way of communicating yourself out of that. And it's very difficult. I deal with like, you know, like lots of like secrecy and like talking behind my back, and it's just like secrets, and it freaks me out because I'm like naturally kind of like a paranoid person. It's horrible. It's horrible. The volume as well, bro. The volume as well. The volume as well. Dude, the volume is like crazy. I'm blessed in that regard because my coworkers and managers just subscribe to me regardless of my antics. Dude, my coworkers, they're cool, man. I love my coworkers. But family, it's different. It's different with family, man. I got kicked out over this YouTube channel, you know? That's like that's old lore of this channel. Like I got straight up sent to the britches in the middle of winter. And bro, I was ready to die for it, because literally this was like the only form of like communication I had with like the outside world at that point. That was it. That was it. There was no other communication with the outside world. I was like literally locked, because I've been locked inside this tight-knit community all my life. There was no communication with the outside world. I was taught to be horrified of everybody. Not to make friends with anybody who doesn't share the same like religious values as me, which I ended up not feeling in tune with anymore. So all of that completely destroyed me as a human being. I'm completely like split into a trillion pieces, and it's like the internet is amazing, and the people supported me so much during that time. It was unbelievable. If it wasn't for them, I literally might have died, I think, because I couldn't stay at the hospital anymore during a period of the time. I continued getting sectioned. Let me tell the whole story right here and right now. So I get a notice from my parents, essentially. They're like, listen, you need to delete your YouTube channel and stop using any kind of substances at all immediately, or you are getting kicked out of the house. And I was like, listen, I'm going to die if you take away all of my access to like the outside world, because I have no IRL friends, and if you take away the only means of me like being able to self-medicate myself, because all the antidepressants I've tried failed, and I've gone and talked to my doctor about like the substances that I've used, and she literally, like years ago when I was 16, and this happened when I was like 19 years old, no, almost 20, I think 20, yeah, I turned 20. My 20th birthday actually took place while I was, I think, no, it wasn't that. It was after I turned 20, okay, it was in March. Someone else's birthday, I'm getting a little confused. But anyways, let's hop back there. My doctor and me had like great communication for a while, and we talked about like everything that I was using so that I could like keep myself on track. I got myself like back to school and everything. I was like living a functional life, you know. And then I got eviscerated by like a series of a few things. First, was like a really bad breakup. That threw my whole mental health into array. And after that, I wasn't really behaving the same, because it was a very traumatic experience. I'll tell that story another time. This one, I'm just going to focus on like the channel and how I got kicked out and everything. But during that time, I was posting a lot on Reddit, and I had reached like a really great like following from posting on this subreddit called r/drug-circle-jerk, where that's where I met Church Doc. And we essentially would just play games together, me and him. He reached out to me because I would like make jokes on that subreddit where I would just basically like trauma dump in a funny way. And that was kind of like my coping strategy. And I made a lot of friends that way, and Church Doc was one of them. And Church Doc reached out to me. He DM'd me one time, and he was like, yo, we should play games together. And that was like literally kind of like a life-changing thing for me. We made like a great friendship. We hit it off immediately. We played a lot of games together, and then I started realizing that like, yo, like I am like kind of entertaining. I could I could start like making YouTube channels. I could do all kinds of things like that. And I went on to do all of that, you know. I started my first video at the time. I was still with my girlfriend. Sorry, I'm such a horrible storyteller. It's like very difficult to parse these thoughts because of how many like traumatic events happened like in the middle of all of them. It's like everything exists in like fractured memories that like are hard to cohere together at like when I just like try to. We'll get back to the train of thought in a moment. Anyways, a lot of my like content, I was literally just like getting high on psychedelics, smoking weed, and going outside, and literally just like talking about life and like making like stupid jokes in whatever capacity that I felt was going on. I appreciate it, your stock, and screen recording your story to give you the vid. Appreciate that, man. And so I was like making a lot of jokes, like kind of like deprecating myself. That was kind of like the way that I coped. It was like a means of like belittling myself because my head was already like belittling myself so much. It was like easy. We all did that. That was kind of like the whole point of like the community that we were in, that we all bonded together in. It was like we all wanted to like kill our egos, essentially, you know, experience like the death of the self so that we could, you know, like let go of like the horrible things that we had attached to and experience life before we were conditioned to hate everything and be afraid of everything. And so that self-deprecation was taken completely seriously when my parents found my channel, and they didn't listen to me whatsoever when I told them like I was kind of like playing a character. You can go back and see any of the videos, they're all up there still. You like, except for like a select few that I've taken down. So you can like see the context. They essentially thought that I was a like someone with like a extremely severe like drug dependency who was selling their body for drug money online, which is not the case at all, unfortunately. That was like and I told them that. I was like, no, I wasn't doing that. And they were like, they just didn't listen to me at all. And they were like, listen, you need to delete the channel and get out of our house. And that's like, they were like, delete the channel, and basically at this point I did have a drug dependency, but it was like a thoughtful drug dependency. I wasn't like spiraling out of control. I was like in control. It's hard for me to even like admit this because of the damage it caused, like just talking about it. So there's like this intense like sludginess around the whole thing, because I'm afraid that anything I say will get used against me, and then I will get like there will be like horrifying repercussions to what I'm saying. But I literally have to break through it or I'm going to die. So because the body keeps the score. It can't like hold on to all of this like stress. It will explode, and it's happening to like my little brother right now. He's literally like losing it. He's he's freaking out, threatening other people. Like people are threatening to take him to court right now over the things that he's saying to people. And I like told them that this was coming, and they didn't listen to me at all. You like your suffering raw? You know what? I like respect that 100,000%. But dude, if I suffered raw, I would have killed myself 100,000%. But I entirely respect it. I don't condone the use of substances. I don't think anybody should use substances. But I think that if you feel the need to like help yourself, then help yourself, because it's not worth it killing yourself. You should try and find any solution you can to live before you just like throw yourself out the window or something. It's worse to end your life. But anyways, that was kind of like the whole thing. It was like I felt like I was being pushed. I built a community where all these people were supporting me with my mental health, and a lot of them, they told me that they felt like I was supporting them too, and that made me feel like I had some sort of a purpose. And having this sense of purpose made me feel like I wasn't completely useless, and that maybe there was like a way for me to go ahead, because what I was taught all my life was that the world was going to end very soon, and that all I had to do was be part of this religion and follow their rules and do what they told me to do, and then I would be able to live forever on Earth, and be saved through the apocalypse. And little did I know that morality is so much deeper than that, and that's not how things work. So that's a whole nother story, you know, like the fallout from that was brutal. Another extremely traumatic experience, and part of the reason why I had to use substances to keep myself together, because everything that I thought was true like exploded and came crashing down. There was no way for me to survive with all of the loss of identity, the loss of community. They like just for like getting into a fight with my mother and my brother, they like publicly humiliated me in front of like the whole congregation in a way that was like, essentially they would like go on stage and essentially be like, this person did something bad, and that's it. That's all they would say to like the whole congregation. They wouldn't go into detail about what happened or anything. They would just be like, you know, this person, we had to go and talk to them because they did something wrong. So everyone is left like wondering what that person did wrong, and then like it's just like psychotic behavior, really. And I was like, I don't know, 15 at the time. It's like probably just some of the most disgusting thing that you can put a young child through. Anyways, who was just like suffering with like mental issues and like trying to survive. And because they did come here, like they came to my house, like two like fully grown men who were like way older than me, and were like, listen, like, you can't talk to your parents like that. And I'm like, yeah, like, I understand, like, I should be respectful to my family. I didn't mean to like be disrespectful. I just like had a moment there where like I was like, the whole fight basically essentially happened because I needed to go use the washroom really badly, and then my brother, out of spite, went and locked himself in the washroom, and then I was like, I pushed the door in and tried to push him out, and then he just flipped on me and started like punching me in the face, and then I freaked out, and then like I started like really trying to like get him out of the door, and then my mom thought like I was trying to like beat him, so she just like pushed into the room, and then both of them were just like hitting me, and I didn't even understand what was happening anymore, because I was like, there are like two people literally just like throwing their hands at me, and I'm just like trying to like get out of the darn bathroom. And when I got out of the bathroom, I was like, you guys are fucked. I can't with this, and I just ran out. I ran out of my house. I and then apparently, like, at some point my mother's lip got busted, and let me tell you, I swear the only way her lip got busted was my brother hit her, because I wasn't throwing my hands that high. And they came to my house, these like two people. I'm not related to them, I don't know them, they don't know me. They are just like what they call the elders of the congregation, and they came to talk to me. They came and they said, essentially, you are not allowed to like talk to your parents this way. You hurt your mother. This is like against God's rules, and you have committed like awful sin. And I was like, listen, the situation is more complicated than that. Like, I tried to tell the whole story, and they did not listen to me whatsoever. Neither did my parents. And basically what they said was like, because you're a child, you shouldn't be speaking. You shouldn't have the right to talk. And I was like, listen, I'm like a sentient conscious being. You should listen to me as a person, because situations have two sides always. And they did not listen whatsoever. They just continued to talk, that say that like what I did was wrong. They were like reading scriptures and whatever, and I just like stormed off because I couldn't take it anymore. They didn't tell me that they were coming. They didn't tell me anything. They just showed up one day. I got a knock on my door by my parents, and they're like, these people are here to see you. And then they talked about the whole situation. So they got my private family life involved, a very vulnerable moment of mine involved with two people who I had no idea who they were. And then they went to the whole public congregation, which of them in the congregation, I had friends, I had things, and then they were just like, you did something wrong. And they wouldn't say any kind of detail, just to like make you feel shame. The whole point was to make you feel shame. And because that's like the way that they control people, is shame. They make people feel shame for feeling different. They make people feel shame for looking different. They make people feel shame for thinking differently. Anything. That was like the whole purpose of it. And I won't even mention like the name of the organization for two reasons. One, because there's good people in there. Two, because I don't want to get killed. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. There's plenty of good people in there who are like not bad actors and are simply trying to get by. But there are people in there who will ruin your life and have ruined plenty of people's lives. And if I told you the name, you would not be surprised. When I got kicked out, like, what happened is they just called me to the table, and they set out their terms. They were like, listen, if you're going cold turkey, off, at that time, what I was on was, this, like, plant-based, not plant-based, it's a plant called Mitragina speciosa, kratom, better known. Which is like a mild opiate stimulant, and this plant is pretty physically safe. You can't like kill yourself with it, even if you tried, really, and it was something that helped keep my anxiety down, and oh, we just got like one of the best items in the game out of this chest. Thank you. And oh, and another amazing item. Another thing that I was on is called dextromethorphan, DXM, which is it works very similar to typical antidepressants, like the Prozacs, the Zolofts, and the SSRIs, but it's a SNRI specifically. Serotonin, norepinephrine is the way you say it. I always get it wrong. Reuptake inhibitor. I know my stuff, man, and I've fractured my knowledge a lot because I would tell them like literally everything that was happening inside of my head and like speak to them, because this is why my doctor trusted me, because I wrote her an entire essay about everything that was going on, like everything I was taking and why I was taking it, and I showed her like the scientific research behind it, because like there was like bleeding edge science coming out about the things that I was using, about it being potentially helpful for mental health and being more effective than the things that they were prescribing me that had awful side effects for me that just didn't work with me. They were like, completely cut off all of it and delete your YouTube channel, which was the only way that I had like support with my mental health. I was like, no, there's no way I can do this. I had broken up with my girlfriend. None of my friends, all my friends had moved away. To lose that connection with the community that knew me, that knew my situation, this situation that is so hard to explain, the situation that I feel like every time I try to talk about it, I'm risking my life, I'm risking other people's lives, I feel like I'm going to destroy a whole family, and more. I couldn't let go of that because I depended on them, and I felt that there are people who depended on me. We're going through a story about how I got kicked out of my house over this channel. I've had this channel for 3 years now, and there's a lot of history behind it. That's just what's happening. Oh, Enter the Gungeon? Yeah, it's a great game. I love Enter the Gungeon. This just happened to like be the topic that we were going into while we're going years ago. I still have the stickers that came with them. Oh, sick. I never got any stickers. I got this game for free on the Epic Games Store. I would have loved to have some Enter the Gungeon stickers. It's such a fun game. I love this game so much. It's one of my favorite games. I used to play a lot back in like when I was younger, and then I'm recently coming back to it on like a nearly complete save file and trying to get good at it again because I lost my muscle memory a lot. I don't know if I'm gonna beat this boss here. Anyways, where was I at? Yeah, I didn't want to lose that community. So, because, you know, those people, being understood is something invaluable in life. Feeling like you're not alone is invaluable in life. And at home, I felt alone. At home, I did not feel understood. At home, I did not feel safe. So, oh, that was easier than I expected. I said, listen, I'm going to choose to take my chances on my own, but give me some time to figure it out. I'd rather stick with my community and see what comes of this than, because honestly, I believe that I could, like, explain to them, because I am a perfectly rational human being, and, well, maybe not perfectly rational, that's kind of like an exaggeration for sure, but, like, I'm a rational human being, and I can explain what's going on. I thought that with time, and I had, like, some support at school, too. I'd been going back to school. I'd recently been, like, pulling back myself together, like, getting ready to like finish high school. Things were going good. So I had some teachers that I was starting to get close to, and they helped me talk to my parents, and there was like no common ground that we could reach whatsoever. And because of that, I started finding like different like youth services that I could employ for to like get housing, because in Canada there are like services for youth who are in distress, and there was this program that essentially allowed kids who are in crisis to stay at people's houses. Certain people would like dedicate spaces in their houses for people to stay in, like their rooms, their basements, their garages, and through the system kids could stay there if they needed a couple nights away from home or something like that, or weeks even. And the place that I stayed at was very kind, but I was going through a severe crisis at this point because one of the rules still was like no drugs. So I was self-medicating myself for like years at this point, successfully, and things were going smoothly, and there were ups and downs, of course, because I was young, and I made mistakes, and that was, but nothing like crazy, nothing that would like cause like some like severe damage to other people or anything like that. We're getting low on health. I had to stop that, but getting out of my house was enough for me, to and being able to stick with the community that like I was like, let me try myself out. Maybe my parents will have a change of heart if I can just like survive for some length of time. And there was I tried to stay in communication with my parents while I was staying at this place, and I started to go through like pretty severe withdrawal symptoms. So like typical antidepressant and opioid withdrawal symptoms at the same time. So my mood was incomprehensibly bad. I didn't understand how much I couldn't like, I was blacking out basically in terms of like the suffering that I was going through. And I was staying in a completely unknown place. I'm somebody who suffers with extreme anxiety and trauma normally, and so being in like a brand new place with not knowing what was gonna come of anything, it was very frightening. I was very scared. Sorry, this box is gonna take a little bit of focus. I can't get hit at all here. I only have one heart. So, okay, it got me. So, I guess the story's more important. And, so basically, I felt like I was like cold sweating all the time. Not felt like, I was cold sweating all the time. I had to continually change my clothes. I couldn't sleep at all. I felt like I couldn't talk. The only communication I really had was with the people on the subreddit that I made, and like my friends online, and yeah, that was it. Like even my friends like in real life, they were all busy with like university and whatnot, so there was no communication there, and my family wouldn't talk to me at all. So, and I was still trying to talk to my family. I was sending them emails. There were people in my community, like I told them about the story that was going through, that like what was happening, and they wrote like, there were a lot of people who were a lot older than me in that community, who were like 30, 40 years old, who had like families of their own, and who understood what I was going through, and they took the time out to like write like letters to my parents, pleading for them to let me back into my home. And I sent them those letters in email to try and like, because they didn't believe me. They thought that I was insane, but I wasn't. And I was perfectly rational. My teachers knew that I was rational. Um, my parents never opened any of the emails that I sent them. They didn't. They didn't look at anything. They didn't reply to anything. Um, I stayed at that place for 3 days, 3 nights, and then afterwards they were going to take me to another town, um, for to stay at another place for a week. And let me tell you, at this point, I was like, I think if I go to another town and I'm locked away like in a completely unknown location with like no means of like helping myself, I had run out of all of like the prescription anti-anxiety medication that I had. No means of getting to my doctor. I was like, so I was gonna like, this was it. Like, I was like, if I go there, I think I'm gonna kill myself. So I'm not gonna go there. I am gonna take my bets alone. I'm gonna try walking back to my place and talking it out with my parents. Um, that happened only because the program that I was in, let me tell you, I called them and I was like, I need you to take me home. I want you to take me home because I don't think I'm gonna survive like the next place that I'm gonna stay at. I think the crisis is too severe. And they were like, you know what? We were not able to take you home. I made it pretty clear that my intention was that like I'm gonna kill myself if I don't get medicated, and because of that, they kind of just treated me like I was a drug addict, and they were like, we can only take you to the shelter or like to the other place. We can't take you home, because we don't know what's gonna happen to you if you go home, and like that to me, I was like, all right, I'm walking home. I didn't know where I was. I was pretty much delirious, and it was like the middle of winter here in Canada. Winter gets pretty brutal sometimes. Um, I hadn't eaten much at all in 3 days. I packed my bags. The family that I was staying with was going on vacation. They were so kind to me, and they were like, listen, if we could, we would like call you an Uber wherever you needed to go. Like, but we're not sure we have the time. And I was like, listen, you don't need to. I think I'm gonna be okay. I was delusional, man. I didn't know how awful my situation was, but I thought could just fight right through it. I I before I left, I was so nauseated. I threw up into the garbage can that was there, and I had like not eaten, so I was just like puking bile like into the garbage can, and like I didn't want to leave like a garbage can full of puke there, so I picked up the garbage, like the bag full of puke, and I like put it in my pocket, and I like walked outside with it, when I was leaving their place, and then I was, it was like there was snow, it was windy, I did not know where I was, I could barely like figure out how to work the maps, I by the time I got to like a bus stop, I had like dropped my headphones and broken them. I had no music anymore. And that's like a big thing for me. Um, and I felt like I was gonna pass out, so I decided to call my dad, and I was like, "Listen, I'm at a bus shelter, and I'm not sure I'm gonna survive, like right now." And he came and he picked me up, and he took me to Tim Hortons, which is like a restaurant for breakfasts and lunches here, and so we got a breakfast there. He didn't really talk to me at all the entire time we were in the car, and when I got back, he took me like to the garage, and he was like, "What's your plan?" And I was like, "Listen, I ordered some medication to this address before I left home, and I I know that it should have arrived by now. If you give me this, I will leave and I will take my chances outside. I'll figure it out. But I can't go on facing my thoughts and facing like the wilderness at the same time. It's gonna both at the same time is too much. Um he says, "Okay, I'm gonna go upstairs and talk to your mother about this." He goes, and then he comes back down probably like 20 minutes later, and then he just like opens the garage and starts driving. And I'm like, "Where are you taking me?" And he's like, "I'm taking you to the hospital." And I'm like, "No, you're not. You're not taking me to the hospital. They're not gonna help me." And he's like, "They're gonna have the medication you need there." And I'm like, "No, they're not." Like, I skipped over this because there's so many pieces to this puzzle. Still putting it together. This was not the first time I went to the hospital. The first time was like probably one of the first nights I got kicked out. I was talking to my teacher and I was like talking like I was like, "I'm not sure if I'm like well," and she started getting concerned that I was a danger to myself, so she called the police, which is like her duty to do. I don't blame her, and they took me in for the night, and let me tell you, there was like they barely spoke to me there when I was there. They just gave me a bed to sleep in, and then they gave me a pamphlet of like places to call. That was it. So I'd been like brought to the hospital before for like anxiety issues, mental health crises. They don't really treat you that well here, at least. I'm sure there are hospitals where there are like some really great people, but my experiences have all been bad. And in this fight or flight state that I was in, I jumped out of the moving car and was like, "Listen, I'm out. I'm gonna run." And I ran, and I ran as far as I could, which was about 2 blocks before I collapsed into somebody's grass. And then I, like, my dad drove up and he was like, "Listen, he didn't even say anything, really. I think he called the police before that. He just kind of like followed me. I don't even think he got near me, actually." I like got up, the police came and they're like, "You're alright?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm alright." And they're like, "Listen, we're gonna take you into the hospital." And I was like, "Okay." They're like, "Do you have anything on you we should know about?" And I was like, "No, I don't have anything," because I didn't have anything because they didn't let me take anything to the house that I was staying at, before. Um, so I went in, I went to the hospital, and it was just like hell there. I was just in a white room, no one to talk to, um, except for like I had like some communication with the subreddit before, but at this point I started to like get afraid that like I had to close down like everything that I was doing online or I would not survive. But I didn't do it just yet. Um, I just like kind of like I was getting scared. Um, it frustrates me how hard it is to speak, but I'm trying not to get too frustrated. I I wanted to talk to somebody at the hospital because I felt like I was going to lose it, and I just talked to the guard, and I was like, well, I didn't talk to the guard first. I talked to the nurse, and I was like, "Listen, hey, can I like speak to somebody?" I don't think I had my phone with me at all. Actually, I think my phone was taken. They put it in a bag, and I didn't have access to it. Um, I was like, I need I need I need to talk to somebody. And they were like, "A nurse will be with you at some point." No one ever came for like probably like 2 hours, and then after that, I was like severely hallucinating, just from the stress and everything. I went to the guard and I was like, listen, I'm afraid that I'm going to try and break out of this place. And if I do, I apologize in advance because I feel like I'm losing control. And he was like, listen, I'm going to go talk to the nurse and I'm going to see what I can do. Probably like 20 minutes later, they came over with like some sedatives. And they were like, listen, take this, you're going to feel better. It was like a 1 milligram Ativan, and it definitely helped. I was calm for like the next 2 or 3 hours when the doctor came in, and they were like, listen, we don't have a room for you to stay in, so you can sit on the chair outside in the lobby while you figure yourself out, or you can call like the homeless shelter again. And I was like, okay. I sat in the lobby for a little bit, and I knew there was a McDonald's across the road. I went there, I charged my phone, I talked to the community again, and someone from there offered they offered to drive up from Mississauga, which is a town close to where I'm in. I was in Vaughan at that point, so it was like an hour drive, and they said, listen, I can give you money and like rent you out like a motel for a few nights while you figure your place out. And I was like, I trust you. Like, I think that you're not gonna hurt me, and like this is where I'm staying right now. And he was like, thank you, like your work has like helped me with what I've been going through, and this is like the least I could do for you right now. And he drove up all the way, and he transferred me like $150, and he took me into his car, and he we talked. I got like the medication that I needed to like stay like sane at all. I I I drove over and we found this motel. Like, it was like a student housing kind of place, with a bunch of other people staying in there for a university. And I stayed there for a couple of nights. It wasn't it was just, I think, one night actually. And what happened thereafter, I I just like told my dad that I don't think that like I was like, I surrendered, I guess. I was like, you win. I'll take down my YouTube channel. I'll take down my YouTube channel. I'll take down the Reddit. I'll take down everything. And I'll come back home because I don't think that I can survive outside. The weather is just not it. My body's given out. I don't think I'm gonna make it. So he came and picked me up. The drive home was very quiet. Pretty much the only thing he really had to say to me was, why don't you come back to... He wanted to make it a clause, actually, for me to stay at his place. One of the clauses was that I come back to the religion with him. And I was like, no. I'm not doing that. And thankfully he was not psychotic enough to force that upon me. When we got back to my place, we talked to my mom, and I told her that I took down my YouTube channel, my Reddit, and everything, and I am just going to keep all of it off for now, and I'm gonna stay off the drugs. I didn't have any or anything, so that was the plan. I had incurred a horrific amount of psychological damage throughout this encounter. I'd say the whole thing probably lasted about 6 days in total, between the time I stayed at the hospital, time I stayed at the other person's house. Thank you, Church Dog. I really appreciate that you're still here through all of this, because I'm like stumbling over my words and I feel so stupid, man, and frightened. But I know that also this is just what trauma does to you. It like prevents you from being able to access your memories and like being able to communicate coherently. And this is what was used against me. It was used against me to make it seem like I was like an incoherent person, that I was like somebody who was not capable of making rational decisions, and my parents used every extent of my own mental illness to manipulate me into like trying to like follow their will, because they were so horrified of me, because they felt that I was the ultimate evil. They were, because that's what their whole religion is about, the ultimate evil, Satan the devil controlling the evil people in the world, and them attacking the good people in the world, and the good people being persecuted until God comes and saves them. That's like the whole story, right? And for them, to me, I had become the ultimate evil, and they didn't care. They didn't listen to anything that I said. They looked at me with the coldest eyes ever. Even when I came back from everything that I went through, they didn't treat me like a human being whatsoever. I didn't feel safe whatsoever in my house, and having no chemical blanket at all, dealing with that, because like for the years before this, I needed that to survive. Like the fallout from the religion, from other traumatic experiences was so hefty that I was just surviving back then. I'd just like really gotten on my feet, like, and felt like had a purpose right before I got kicked out of my house. Like, it was just right before I got kicked out of my house that things were starting to fall into place. It's crazy because like I swear it's like when you're, a lot of other addicts and people that I've talked to have like shared this experience. It's like when you are getting clean, that is when like everyone starts to like think that you are the most fucked up, and that is the craziest thing, I think, because they don't understand and they don't trust you. And I told a lot of lies, but I had no choice. It was the only way I could survive. I would not have lied if they were open and allowed me to communicate in a way that didn't like require me to not be who I am. Because to them, who I was somebody who was worthy of death by the hands of God. And and so much so that they thought that I was going to incur like death upon all of them, that I was like bringing the devil into their household, basically. This stressed them out so much that like I think a month after this, my father had a heart attack, and it was barely months later before that he like literally was like, listen, I hope you're not like going out online and like doing your YouTube things again, because like I don't want to have another heart attack because of like what you're doing. And what kind of fucked up weight do you put on your children? I need to go hit a bowl. I need to go hit a bowl. Be right back. unfathomably manipulative. But that's all they knew, bro. That's all they knew, because all of their lives was manipulation. All that was the game, you know, is power. Use power to force people to do things. Do not allow things to grow on their own. Just force things into whatever you see fit. That's how they were treated, and that's how they treated us. Thank you, Rad. I appreciate I appreciate that. But when I came home, man, I I could feel the fear and the hatred so vividly that, and let me tell you, I felt it for a long time, and every time I tried to bring it up, they lie to me. They would lie to my face and say that there's nothing going on, that we don't feel any type of way about you, that we're not like harboring any kind of resentment or anything. And then and I knew it. I knew that they were, because they did not treat me like a family member. I knew I'm not, and they just treated me like I was like, they just lied through their teeth constantly. Um and then then after, when I came home, it was like 100,000 times worse, and I I couldn't take it, and at some point I just had to I had to leave. I had to walk out. You're good to stop the recording. I'll Discord it to you. You're good to stop the recording. It's all good. Thank you so much, man. Um, when I got back home, I had to leave because I felt like the again, like the only way I can describe it is like the air was like full of knives. Everyone, like just dark glaring faces everywhere, and I had to go for a walk, and when I just went for a walk around the block, and I like put like snow in my face. Like I was trying to like calm down, like as best as I could, because I thought that I was going to hurt myself so badly. And I went back into my house, and then they just looked at me even worse, and like and I could just tell that they assumed that I had gone out and done something, and I I just like broke in that moment. I think not right there. I think I went to my room, and I came back out, and then I was like, listen, I can't live like this. I'm not going to survive. Um, you've taken me off of like the antidepressant that I've been taking for years, and you forced me to like cold turkey it. And let me tell you even some more context. My uncle as had bipolar. Had is a very important word here. He had bipolar. Um, he once had a manic episode in which he felt like he could come off of his medication. Um, this is my This is my father's brother, and he uh, he came off of his medication, and during his manic episode, he crashed and then he hung himself. He just killed himself, you know, from the effects of like the withdrawal. So my family had already seen like what happens to somebody if you like just like cut away, like it's no joke to stop somebody from taking an SSRI or an SNRI. It can actually make someone kill themselves, like for real. And it happened to my dad's brother. they still forced it upon me. Yeah, no worries at all, Dog. Enjoy. Thank you for staying by. Um, and I just like, I could not. I I I was afraid for my own safety. I was afraid for my own health, and I was like, listen, I I know I ordered more. I know that you have it, so please, all I ask is that you just give it to me. And I just like, I don't. I will take like literally the smallest dosage possible, but it will prevent me from experiencing like this horrific, like, like the force of all of the trauma that I've been through all of my life, and all of the like mental illness that had spawned out of it at once, on top of the situation now that I was in, and having nowhere to reach out to. I was like, just grant me the slightest bit of relief. That's all I ask. And I tell you, they looked at me with the coldest eyes and said nothing. They said nothing at all. And I broke down crying. And I literally got on my knees, and I was like, I begged them. I was like, please, I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to hurt myself at all. I just want to live like a life that isn't horrible, and I'm not this horrible being that you think I am. I'm not. This perception that you have of me is not real. And I it's nothing registered, and I started literally just like screaming, because I at this point I was like, I don't know what else I'm gonna do, because I'm gonna go back outside and sit in the cold and die, and I didn't want to do that either, because that was it, you know. Upon like literally screaming until I like collapsed, they finally, and like not like just like nothing mean or anything. I was just like, please listen to me, because I'm making sense. I've sent you literal scientists saying like the methods behind mental health and addiction and the drugs that I'm using and everything, and I've explained all of the work that I put out there. I've explained everything, why you've misconceived me, why you misconstrued everything that you saw, why all of this has happened. But you refuse to look at any of it. And I'm here literally breaking down on my knees, and you're still looking at me like I'm not a human being. That is the I couldn't. But maybe there is a God, because something gave way at that point, and then they finally were like, okay, we will grant you like your one of your medication, like one pill, which was like a 30 milligram dose of dextromethorphan, which is basically what people take for their cough, on a on a regular Sunday morning. They just, doctors didn't know that it could have a antidepressant effect yet. Now they do. They did then, like, and I sent the research over, but they didn't look at it. But they did, I guess, after all the screaming, because my dad came in and told me, and he was like, only because I saw this one article from like John Hopkins University that said that it could help with your depression, and I was like, yeah, like I found this years ago. Why? It's just, that's the whole reason why I went to my doctor and asked her if I could medicate myself, because it wasn't like a prescription thing yet, but it was like over the counter. You could just go into stores and get it. It's like a legal drug, just like it's like off-label use basically. So I managed to survive, and they continued to like kind of like they controlled how I was using for a period of time, and then eventually allowed me to continue. I think at this point, like, I don't think I can continue telling the story. I don't feel safe, I guess. Feels like my brain is telling me to shut up, like, just like really loudly. And sometimes gut instinct is like really, really valuable. And so I'm gonna just listen to my gut instinct, because I don't know what the destruction I've already incurred upon myself is. So I think I'm just gonna go. Thank you so much for listening at all to any of this. And see you. I will see you.